From the Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek studio, PBS Kansas presents Hatteberg's People.
Sometimes the most important stories aren't about headlines, but about the quiet legacies people leave behind.
Tonight, we open the archives once again to share some of those incredible stories. We will be there for the reunion of a lifetime as a handful of Kansas sailors remember surviving the bloodiest naval battle of World War II.
And then we'll meet the Wichita actor whose one-man show was a powerful tribute to a television icon, Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen.
Plus the retired truck driver who discovered a hidden talent in his golden years, creating thousands of pieces of art.
And we'll meet the man who never met a snake he didn't like, and he made them his life's work. Hi, everybody. I'm Larry Hatteberg.
I'm Susan Peters. All those stories and more coming up now on Hatteberg's People.
These stories are like old friends. Their lives radiate from the screen like prophets of the past. They were teachers, but not in a classroom. Instead, they taught about life to those around them who cared to listen, and I was their student.
Of the 215,000 Kansans who served in World War II, only about 350 are still living. That makes our first story tonight such an important piece of history.
The year was 1984, and I was there for the reunion of a lifetime for this group of men who survived the bloodiest naval battle of the war.
Many people drive hundreds of miles every year to attend reunions. Most are the high school or college variety. But very few people attend reunions where most of the talk is how many hours they spent in the water when their battleship was sunk. Historians called it the bloodiest naval battle of World War II. It occurred in the Gulf of Leyte in the Philippine island chain in October of 1944. It was a battle that signaled the end of the Japanese Navy. One ship that contributed to the demise of Japan as a naval power was the USS Johnston, a destroyer with 328 men on board. In that decisive battle, the Johnston was sunk. 143 men survived. This week, 60 of those surviving sailors are holding a reunion in Wichita.
And that's Don Bowman. I forget that man's name. Well, I knew most of them.
There they were, older and grayer, but still shipmates. Time does many things, but when you've been through a war together, it doesn't dull friendships.
Bob Hagan. My God.
How are you, Mr. Hagan?
I'm glad to see you. You ran out of...
Bob Hagan is the senior surviving officer of the Johnston. The last time he saw most of these men was in the water, waiting to be rescued.
We were in a desperate situation, no food, no water, hanging on. It was a matter of survival. And sharks didn't bother us, anything. We were just there surviving.
These men are all survivors. They fought the big one, and this week, each are reliving it again in their own private moments.
I'll be darned.
Academy, he got off just before we got again.
Well, this is the best looking guy in there, right there.
You know who you're pointing to, don't you? The captain.
Even as they gather this week to discuss old wars, new skirmishes are also on their minds. Lebanon and Grenada have a way of sneaking into the conversation.
When it was us, we had something, to fight for, and we got out. But now it seems to me like those Marines over there have their hands tied.
Lebanon doesn't make sense. We don't know who the enemy is over there. I know the enemy is communism, and we have to discourage them from allowing these sort of things to happen to our men.
United by war, these men have been there and came back.
Good to see you.
Now their wars are fought in hotel rooms, and the enemy is time. The men of the USS Johnston, together again. This is Larry Hatteberg.
Every one of those men are gone now. The last living survivor of the USS Johnston died in 2023 at age 101. The stories from World War II are incredible. And just to be able to sit down and listen to these guys talk about what they went through, you just shake your head. And as a guy, I wonder, could I do that?
Could you?
Would I be that brave?
Exactly. We wonder the same thing, even as a girl or a woman. That is bravery beyond bravery, and I hope those stories live on and on and on, so that future generations can understand the sacrifice that they made.
And they will if people record them.
I know.
If they have an uncle or a dad or somebody, record him on video and save that.
Exactly.
Because those stories are priceless.
Well, you can't rely on history classes anymore, but because you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, a lot of us are old enough to remember Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen. He was the dramatic, cape-wearing Catholic priest who was a national TV star in the 50s and 60s.
And the next story really isn't about him. It's about the Kansas actor who portrayed him, Ron Blasey. Now, Ron's portrayal was a tribute to this popular televangelist that he admired so much.
In the 1950s, Bishop Fulton J. Sheen was a powerful influence on the television audience. His network show, Life is Worth Living, had a huge Sunday night following.
Friends.
Come on, dude.
Years ago and a lifetime away, Ron Blasey of Clearwater used to watch Bishop Sheen.
You gonna help Johnny? You gonna help Mommy? Huh?
He had no idea how much his life and Bishop Sheen's would intertwine.
And she finds the little boy dressed up with his coat and hat on, suitcase in his hand. And she said, "Where are you going, Fulton?" He said, "I'm going to New York to see Bishop Sheen.
I was named after him." And the mother said, "What have you got in the suitcase?" He said, "My little sister, she's going too." He was there during my formative years, and I guess played a big part in firming up my foundation for life.
Ron Blasey, father, horse enthusiast, and husband, is also a man dedicated to his faith. Since beginning his one-man show, Bishop Sheen Remembered, Ron has not only mastered the mannerisms and movements of the man he admires, but he's also found out something about himself.
Well, the purpose behind the Bishop Sheen performance is, not only providing an alternative to the entertainment that's available today, but also to witness to my faith. That is one of the purposes of children. How dull, for example, life would be if the musician were always picking up violin and bow and never producing a melody. Or if sculptor were always picking up a chisel, applying it to marble, and never creating a statue. I think that our world is sort of in a bad way right now because we've turned away from God. After the new birth, the child can call God in the strictest sense of the term, Father. And he can also call the one who brought the Son of God into the world, Mother.
Ron Blasey says he's turned his life around by finding new strength in his faith and by witnessing that faith in the spotlight of a stage. Bishop Sheen died in 1979, but the humor he used to dispense his weekly wisdom is still alive through the acting talents of one of his former viewers.
I just read the other day in a Detroit paper about a lady 86 years of age who every Tuesday night primps her hair, puts on her very best dress, and she says, "I'm going to listen to Bishop Sheen." God love you wherever you are.
Now, Ron continued portraying Archbishop Sheen into the mid-90s, and he did some other local acting as well. In 2024, Ron passed away at age 81. Congratulations to him for doing that. I remember watching Sheen on television when I was growing up.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, on a little
the
black
old black and white.
Yeah.
And he would kind of look to the side sometimes. And yeah. He's from my hometown, Peoria, Illinois.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know
He's
that.
from Peoria, Illinois. There's a little tidbit for you.
Well, I liked his cape.
Isn't it cool?
Well,
it is cool.
You know, I was sort of into superheroes.
Yeah, there you go.
He had the cape, so everybody wants a cape.
Well, there are definitely people that think he is a hero, too.
And congratulations for the gentleman bringing him to the people who never knew him.
Portrayed him.
Yep.
There are all kinds of artists out there. Some are flamboyant and a bit out there, and some are like Ike Newfield.
Yeah, Ike was a retired truck driver and really just a good old country boy. His art was homegrown and a byproduct of his full embrace of his golden years.
Nice and quiet, and you can do about anything you're big enough to out here.
Ike Newfield retired from the trucking business 12 years ago. He and his wife moved here on a small acreage in the country near Arlington. Here, where the tulips bloom and the windmill turns into art.
I use wood that's at least 100 years old. Well, this here is cottonwood. This is cedar. And this is either fir or pine.
Ike tore down a barn on his property to get this century-old barnwood.
It's seen a lot of weather, sunshine and rain and snow, hail, what have you. And there's no way of making that wood except let Mother Nature do it. That's the only way it can happen.
Well, it does happen with a little help from Ike. These are his barnwood pictures. All are three-dimensional and all are originals.
It takes lots of time, that's for sure. Time, pieces, and imagination. I don't make anything absolutely square or straight. That way you can't say it's a kit. I use that stove to get rid of my mistakes. Get something started, and then I just keep it working to see what comes out of it. If I get a picture made out of it and hang it up in somebody's house, it might get to be another 100 years old. I don't know. Just like to get the picture done so I can see what I've done. Yeah, it's three-dimensional, all right. You gotta get away from it and do something else, which we do, go out and play golf. This is a Metamuffin golf course. 5 holes out in the pasture. Yeah, we did have flags up there, but they wear out. Cattle pull them off of there and so on, so I just put plastic jugs up.
Ike lived to be 95, and his obituary says he created over 3,000 pieces of art that were purchased by people from all around the world. I really admire people who, A, have the talent to do something like that, because I couldn't create anything like that.
I hear you.
You know, I take pictures because I can't paint.
Oh, that's right. You can create. You take incredible pictures.
Well,
you should see his photographic gallery. It's unbelievable. You'll have to do a Hatteberg's people on that sometime, but go ahead.
What I'm saying, my point was...
Oh, what's your point?
My point was that I admire people who can work with wood, and obviously he had a great talent because his stuff sold all over the world.
All around the world.
Yeah, but in my case, I always kind of wanted to paint.
Yeah.
Problem was, I was terrible.
Were you?
I mean, horrible. So
Me
I switched to
too.
photography.
I know. And go Ike, that his
Absolutely.
pieces of art are now probably all over the world, so people are still remembering his art, hence the artist.
We like Ike.
Mm-hmm. Well, Henry Fitch is another Kansan from the past with an interesting story. He never met a snake he didn't like. In fact, these often maligned creatures were his life's work. Here's the handsome and dashing Larry Hatteberg with this story from 1984.
Yeah, you know, that's what I don't like about snakes. You're trying to have a peaceful walk in the forest, and what happens? Some snake slithers up to you and scares you to death. Well, fortunately for us, there are some people who enjoy studying snakes. One such man lives in Lawrence, Kansas. You may be out in the woods, but you're also in Henry Fitch's laboratory. Henry is a KU Professor Emeritus of Ecology, but folks around Lawrence know him as the Snake Man.
This is a good place for them at this time of year.
These wire cages are snake traps, and when the seasons permit, Fitch's traps hold everything from blue racers to copperheads. Today, one trap is full.
This is a copperhead.
It certainly is. Watch closely as the snake attempts to strike Fitch as he opens the trap. Now that scares me, but not Henry Fitch. For the past 35 years, Fitch has weighed, sexed, measured, and clipped the scales of thousands of snakes in northeast Kansas. He is considered one of this nation's foremost authorities on reptiles. He must be. It is nothing for him to hold a deadly copperhead with one hand and write notes about it with the other. Me? I have a hard time being on the same planet as a poisonous snake.
I'm looking now for accessory fangs to see if he's shedding them, but no, there's only one on each side. The fangs are very movable.
When he's not peering down a snake's throat, he's living quietly in this house with his wife on the KU Natural History Reservation in the Kaw Valley near Lawrence. He is the curator of this wildlife area where the environment has been left undisturbed and the animals are left alone except for study purposes. Many people have fences for dogs or farm animals, but have you ever heard of one for a snake? Well, it doesn't keep the reptiles in or out, but it does force them to slither towards one of Fitch's many traps. This time, the catch is a rat snake, one of the non-poisonous yet aggressive varieties common to Kansas. Fitch is a quiet, almost shy man. His work, though, speaks for itself. He's written nearly 140 scientific papers, many of those book size, on the behavior of animals and reptiles. He's been bitten by his subjects 4 times. 2 rattlesnakes and 2 copperheads found their mark. The last bite occurred 25 years ago. Prior to research by Fitch, most in the scientific community believed snakes in the wild were not long-lived. Fitch disproved that theory by finding that some lived as long as 15 years. Now, snakes don't make many human friends, and that's understandable. And that's why they're lucky to have scientists like Henry Fitch on their side. He respects them, but most important, he understands them. This is Larry Hatteberg.
Now, Henry died in 2009 at age 100, but his name lives on at the Fitch Natural History Reservation. It's a 590-acre site outside Lawrence where students can conduct research in the great outdoors. Okay,
good.
Quick story.
What's that?
I'm shooting this story. We're out in the woods. His specialty was copperheads. Okay?
Yeah.
So
they're poisonous.
I'm up shooting him, and I'm fairly close to him, and he says, "Hold this a minute." And, you know, somebody says, "Hold it," and I reach out, and I now have a copperhead by the head.
No.
And I'm terrified of snakes.
Of course.
And I'm holding this copperhead, and its tail is down here wiggling, and I'm petrified.
I bet.
You know, and he's off doing something else.
And he's just like, "Thanks, Larry."
I said, "Hey, can you come back and get this?"
Get that?
Yeah.
Are you
I was scared to
kidding
death.
me?
Yeah. And you know, when he says hold it, you just kind of, oh yeah. I think it's a hammer or a pair of pliers.
Right, you didn't know
something.
what it was. And
no,
here's
but he had it behind him, and he just took it up like this, and I instinctively grabbed it right by the head.
Well,
I will never forget that moment.
It must have scared Larry a lot, because as soon as we introduced the story, he said, "Boy, do I have a story about this guy." He scared me to death.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, he was a teacher. He knew everything about these snakes, and his specialty was copperheads.
Yeah, the snake whisperer.
He was. I like to yell at snakes.
Exactly.
So I can't whisper to them.
I hear you. Okay, here's another slice of Kansas life that Larry captured on tape.
Yeah, the year was 1985, but the way Dwayne Sanders lived and worked and loved his family was timeless.
There's a sense of pride and accomplishment there that I just don't get from anything else.
In order to be a farmer, you have to love it and you have to sacrifice. I keep thinking, well, why don't we sell out and just do nothing and just take it easy? But I don't think I would be happy that way.
Oh, for the love of Pete. Good heavens, look at that crud in there. When I'm out on that tractor moving soil, I feel like the king of the hill. You're sitting out there and that old tractor's poking out the diesel smoke, and you look back and you're just rolling dirt, tearing out weeds, getting your seed bed prepared and your ground in condition. There's not a better feeling. Hello, Kitty, my landing granddad. Look, there they are, both of them. Listen here, got little. Our meetings are always like that. I imagine it seems a little silly to some people, but the grandkids and I, we enjoy it.
Father in heaven, we pause to thank Thee for the blessings of this day and this food. Father, be with us today. Help us in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Oh, it tastes better when it comes from Grandpa's plate. he believes in sharing. Man earn his bread with the sweat of his brow. We weren't promised no bed of roses. And you take your lumps as they come. And anything that comes from God don't bother me a whole lot. I figure what comes from above, I deserve.
Now, Dwayne kept farming for another 6 years, and then he retired. His retirement lasted 25 years till he passed away in 2016 at age 90. Now, that story was shot specifically for Good Morning America.
It was.
Yeah, in New York. And they
and
wanted...
it aired on Good Morning America.
It aired on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
They wanted a typical Kansas family.
Really?
Yeah, and so I was contacted and went out and shot this, and I remember the story very well. Great family, great people, very typical Kansans, and I loved every second of that story.
That is so cool.
It's
and
fun.
It aired nationally.
Yep.
Oh, all right. I wish we could do that again, you know.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Typical, whatever, Kansas family, Michigan family, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We could air it nationally.
Next time we're 21 again, we'll try.
Okay, that's a wrap for us for this week. We want to remind you that now that the federal funding has been taken away, PBS Kansas needs to decide which programs to keep and which to cancel.
And Susan and I volunteer our time here, but producing television shows, very expensive. If you would like to see Hatteberg's People continue, you can go to kpts.org and make a $100 donation to help keep this show funded.
And as a thank you, your name will appear in the closing credits in the near future as a valued supporter. Something to do, and I know there are tons of fans of Hatteberg's People out there. I get stopped in the grocery store, the gas station, all the time. We love Hatteberg's People. Keep it up, keep it up. I do. So thank you for watching. I'm Susan Peters.
And I'm Larry Hatteberg. We hope to see you again very soon.